Football Happy Hour continuing here on CBS Sports HQ. Notable games for Week 15 as that playoff picture starts to come into focus. Niners going to be without Deebo Samuel. They get set to face the Seahawks. That's Thursday night football. At Miami go from the West Coast to the North and the cold in Buffalo. Bills 7.5-point favorites there. Detroit looking to stay red hot. That's a pick'em versus the Jets. And the Giants and Commanders face each other. Big divisional game there in Washington. Let's get some quick analysis on some of the big games this week with Brady and Danny. We start with Thursday Night Football. San Francisco at Seattle. 49ers can clinch the NFC West with a win. They are currently favored by 3 points. Niners have won 6 straight, so all the momentum is with them here, Brady.
Yeah, and look, Brock Purdy has played really well so far in his one start that we saw this past week, and then the spot duty the other time. And I think it's in part because, well, they're running the ball well, and then that's able to dial everything up off the play action pass, the boots, and everything else. But give them a lot of credit, but it helps when you have a running attack. And the way this defense is playing for San Francisco, this should be a nightmare for the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think they're going to be able to protect Geno Smith. We've also seen him struggle a bit too when he doesn't have a ground game to help him out. They're obviously been banged up at the running back position. So this is one where I'm leaning towards the San Francisco 49ers, even though it's a divisional game on the road in the short week. I do think San Francisco is just a much better football team. And Danny, I said this earlier. Look, the Seahawks lost every game they played versus the NFC South. That's not a good sign. I think we're starting to see their true colors right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm actually surprised this number's only 3, which kind of brings up some red flags, like why isn't bigger? This is Brock Purdy's first road test. When he came off the bench versus the Dolphins, that was at home. Yesterday, of course, was at home against Tom Brady, and they've been pretty, yesterday, you're up pretty quick early in that game. It's 35-0. There's not too much pressure on you. Now, how do you handle the hostile situation? That'll be fascinating to see. Brock Purdy's passed his first couple tests with flying colors. I'm curious to see, like you, this defense has been so great. I think that's the story of the 49ers season. Can they shut down Geno Smith? But I'm with you as far as this one. It looks like the Seahawks are proven to be a little bit more fraudulent than we thought.
Miami goes from 2 West Coast games up north where it is expected to be cold and snowy, as we said, in Buffalo. Tua has never played a sub-zero game in terms of the temperature, and the team had heaters for 55-degree weather at SoFi. I mean, boy, they're going to have the heaters out in Buffalo. Bills currently better than a touchdown favorite, Danny. Is this game a must-win for the Dolphins, not just for the division, but in terms of the psychology, given the fact that they've lost last week and the week before?
It's not must win because statistically they'll still be okay, but man, it feels like a must win. I mean, an 0-3 road trip is about as rough as it gets, especially how high everyone was on the Dolphins before they departed for the West Coast. I think it's been an absolute disaster for Tua and Mike McDaniel specifically in this offense, which was just flying high. And Mike McDaniel is a player-friendly coach. We all love, like, he's great with the media. He's great with those sound bites. He's fun. How does he get a team to respond to adversity is my biggest question mark for him. Because when things are going well, it's great. But when things go bad, what does the locker room do then? So I think this will be a big challenge for him. How do they handle that cold? And the Bills need a little bit of a bounce back too. I mean, they're getting asked defensive questions after the game against the Jets. Hey, they want to prove something against a divisional opponent. I think this game is massive, and I got huge concerns for the Dolphins coming in.
Well, look, the Bills have higher aspirations, right? They're going to try to be that number 1 overall seed in the AFC. And in order to keep pace with the Chiefs, they've got to continue to win out. So not even just for this division, but the bigger AFC playoff picture in general for them right now. And Danny touched on it. They do have something to prove. I want to talk about the Dolphins, though. Danny's talking about adversity. I think the biggest thing I'm curious to see if Mike McDaniel can make the adjustments he needs to. We've seen now the past 2 weeks, 2 West Coast teams, San Francisco, and I know they've got a great pass rush, but it's also what they're doing in coverage that you saw the Chargers emulate. Same exact thing. They were running out their backers to get a lot more depth, taking away a lot of those intermediate routes, and then forcing them to either dink and dunk or take a shot downfield, which they obviously had the ability to cover down versus Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So that's what we saw from San Francisco. That's what we saw from the Chargers. Can the Miami Dolphins make the adjustments they need to make in order to allow Tua to thrive once again like we saw earlier this season? I don't know if they can do it, but that's one of the things you obviously have to be capable of doing. Once people kind of find out that calling card or start to take away your identity, you got to be able to adapt and change. Otherwise, you won't survive.
Bills have beaten the Dolphins 5 straight times in Buffalo, outscoring them 179-81. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions, one of the hottest teams in the league, having won 5 of their past 6. The Jets, who they've played this week, 1-3 after their 6-3 start. Brady, after being ball hawks in their first 9 games, I mean, they are struggling to take the ball away as of late.
Yeah, but the defense has still been tough. It's just obviously, you can't turn the football over. They need some support. All right? The defense isn't the problem right now, to me at least, with the New York Jets. Now, it's tough when you have Quinn and Williams go out in a game. If they don't have him back for this one, that's going to be tough, especially considering how physical the Detroit Lions offensive line has been and how good Quinn and Williams has played. I'm more curious to see the matchup on the outside, though. I mean, this Detroit Lions wide receiver group, now that Jamison Williams, their first-round pick, is a part of it, DJ Chark, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds. I mean, Jared Goff's having a phenomenal year. I know the record doesn't necessarily lead you to think we should be talking about him this way, but we should. He's been playing unbelievable. In particular, when Ben Johnson took over as their play caller, which really started last season. Go look at the stats of Jared Goff. It's been better than what we've seen from Matt Stafford during that period of time. Unfortunately, the difference is obviously the two teams just aren't in the quite same spot. Big game, though, for both teams. The Jets can't afford to keep losing ground right now. They're already out of the AFC playoff picture. And for the Lions, if they want to be a part of the playoff picture, Danny, they've got to continue to keep this momentum and win this one.
I mean, Dan Campbell has done a fantastic job with this team. I mean, usually if you start off 1-6, a lot of times you might see a team throw in the towel, maybe a win or two there to make it respectable. But to win 5 of 6 and the one loss, a thriller on Thanksgiving Day versus the Bills, when the Bills needed a last-second field goal, it's been a phenomenal job. I think this is one of the more dangerous teams in the entire NFL because of what you were talking about. Jared Goff, this offense playing the way they are, Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball wreaking havoc. This team is playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. And if they do get into that playoffs in the NFC, which, it's the Eagles, it's Cowboys, the 49ers without Jimmy Garoppolo, with Brock Purdy. I mean, the Lions could play themselves into here and maybe not only getting to the playoffs, but winning a game. I'm not going to put them in the Super Bowl or NFC Championship just yet, but they're an extremely dangerous team right now.
And we saw how special Dan Campbell was in Hard Knocks, and you know that those players have bought into that. They have bought into that, and they are playing for him. Brady Quinn, Danny Kannell breaking down some of the big games ahead in Week 15 of the NFL schedule. Thank you very much to both of you. For more analysis on what's happening each and every week, be sure to check out Inside the NFL. James Brown and his team of current and future Hall of Famers breaking down extended highlights and providing the kind of analysis only those who played the game can provide. You can stream new episodes of Inside the NFL every Tuesday on Paramount+.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.